Just wait for that to go. Yeah, and it's recording, Dawn, so off you go.
Okay, so welcome everyone to our third research and development show and tell for the Improving Local Authority Building Control Alpha. Our agenda for today, we're going to be talking about the research we've been doing, the work on the prototype and data standards, also what's coming up next, and there's also going to be, as Tom said, an opportunity for questions at the end. Just to recap, here's our vision for the alpha phase. We want to demonstrate how we can deliver a better user experience while also improving the quality and usefulness of data so we can position local authorities as the service provider of choice. Okay, so user research that we've been doing since we returned from the Christmas break. Okay, our focus has been on customers, so clients, principal designers and contractors. And as with our conversations with building control staff before Christmas, we wanted to get a more granular understanding of the process so we could understand their roles and how they interact with building control. We've also used the opportunity to test a small section of the prototype that Tom's been working on, which is booking inspections, to gather some feedback. So Tom will be talking about some of those findings shortly. Okay, who was spoken to? So we had a really positive response from homeowners to an advert that Lambeth put out to their database, and that resulted in 7 interviews, which included a variety of scenarios and varying levels of interactions with building control. Sorry, I've just skipped forward. In regards to principal designers and contractors, we've had 1 of each, but we are going to continue the recruitment for those types of users. As always, if anyone is able to help with this, perhaps you have some contacts in your network, please let us know. We've created an advert which you could send out to those people. So do let us know. Okay, so focusing on homeowners for the show and tell, what we found out. We know from discovery that new customers have a lack of understanding, often have a lack of understanding of building control and whether it's actually needed, what they need to do. So when a homeowner decides to do some work, their first move isn't always to call building control or do their own research. It might just be to hire a professional so they don't have to navigate the process and deal with the technical complexities. However, this creates I suppose like a professional wall where the project owner becomes a bystander in their own application. It can go smoothly, we heard that, but however, we found that this reliance can create a dangerous lack of awareness. So one homeowner assumed for months that her project was moving forward, only to find out retrospectively that her plans had been declined and the required site visits never happened because her architect hadn't passed on the information. So at that point, she was having to pick up the pieces and work out what to do. She start again, basically. But even for those who do stay involved, there is a clear knowledge gap. Homeowners often don't know what they need to provide or what is happening next. As one user put it, they were in the dark until they finally got a person on the phone to explain the first steps. So we're seeing homeowners in need of a roadmap that allows them to see through that professional wall and verify that their project is legally compliant. Inconsistency was a challenge for a number of homeowners. Different inspectors, different and sometimes conflicting advice. This lack of continuity can erode trust and leave homeowners wondering if their home is actually compliant. We heard about a project that was finished and inspected, but the paperwork had vanished. The homeowner later found out that an external contractor had been used for the final inspection, but because there was no digital audit trail or confirmation that inspection had taken place, he was asked to pay for a repeat inspection. So it was resolved in the end, but it did cause quite a lot of distress. Homeowners, they're trying to navigate a process that is something often so alien to them. They often don't know what is happening and what the implications are. So information to build their awareness, know what to expect, and an audit trail of what has happened is so important to provide visibility, but also build their knowledge and confidence in the process. Who we want to speak to next? So we want to continue this research. To say that was more a snapshot of what we've heard from homeowners, but we want to speak to those designers, contractors. We'd also like to speak to building control staff who could help us understand a couple of things. The submission journeys for different users. Tom has posted on Slack about this and put those different scenarios. If you are able to help nominate some people or put us in touch with some people, please go onto our Slack channel and see the information there. We also want to find out about some high-level details of some full plan building control applications. So notices, regulations, things like that. So yeah, any help you can give, please do get in touch. Okay, right, now I'm going to hand over to Tom.
Thank you very much, Dawn. I'm just going to take over the presenting because I will share a demo at some point. Okay, thank you very much, Dawn. So as Dawn's talked about, we've kind of been bringing together the two strands of user research with some testing from the prototyping that we've been doing. One of the things that we've been prototyping is a customer portal. We heard at Discovery, or we saw at Discovery, there was a real need for all kinds of customers, whether they're domestic homeowners, whether they're principal contractors of various sizes or principal designers, that there was a need to see what was happening. And we heard about the kind of pressures or what might be described as the failure demand of lots of calls or inquiries coming into building control, which sort of need to be managed. And they're simple things of just knowing kind of what's happening next, or where's this got to, or is it something that the customer needs to do, or is it something that they're waiting on building control for? And this, not only is there that sort of obviously creating a resource challenge for building control authorities in just, stating the state of play, it's also a negative experience for the customers. So when they're thinking about making choices, as they might do when they come to, use local authorities or use a private contractor, that kind of negative experience can influence their choices of, certainly when it comes to the ideas of Dawn's talked about of trust, but also the ideas of sort of like professional, like how professional it feels, and therefore how much you might perceive trust to be a factor. So we wanted to look at what could be done to sort of bridge this gap, reduce the number of calls, give people a confidence in this sort of professional, clear service that's been provided to them. So I will quickly run you through a demo. So this is, for those who have already watched, the video we put out will be very similar, but there'll be an opportunity to ask any questions. So we are imagining that customers of varying descriptions would access this customer portal through emails. So at the start of the process and then throughout the application, they will get updates from the service to their email account. And then from each email, they'll be able to go and view the portal to see the details of these updates or to make any other changes or actions. So we're going to follow the link here to view the portal. So we can see on the portal, we've got the address, the date received, the application number, the application type, an update about the status and what this page shows. Towards the top of the page, we can see some key details of what's happening next. So this application has had its plan checks done, and we're now in the inspection phase. And we can see that there are 2 upcoming site visits that have been booked. And there are the next actions to book the following site visits from there. Below that, we can also see a more sort of in-depth, step-by-step guide to the process, taking them through submission, design check, various start of work and commencement notices, and then other inspections they've had through to completion. So we will just have a look at the process of booking a site visit. So we're going to book this drainage site visit here. When they go through to book a site visit, there are 2, we provide them with the 2 earliest available dates. We believe quite often that customers just want things done as soon as possible, and this gives them a quick way to book that. But they are also able to go and pick another date in the future if that is suitable. So we're going to go through the process here to book this application. When they confirm the booking, they're selecting a contact for access on the day. And we will keep these contacts. So these will have been added probably at the submission stage as the duty holders, but more contacts can be added at any point in the process. But this easily allows for them to select and tell the inspectors from the local authority building control who should be contacted on the day, whether that's the site owner, the contractor, or the designer, or someone else can be added when they confirm the booking and progress through. And this hopefully makes sure that, you know, every time that someone goes out to site, it's successful and they're able to achieve what they want in terms of their inspections. They confirm the booking, they'll get confirmation. There will also be an email. They can add it to their calendars, and there's the option to cancel this booking and find a new date as well if they need to change it. So on this portal, there is also the ability to ask a question. And we heard about the sort of the ability to communicate easily, but also to have that communication, you know, have an audit trail of that, or just being able to check back on what was said and who said that information has benefits as well. So this is a simple portal for just sending a text-based question through to the app, through to the Building Control Authority. The sort of benefit of this over emails or phone calls is that this will be tied to the case, you know, and won't be able to get lost in someone's email box or anything like that. So where all the case information sits with the case progress, this question will sit with it and can be picked up by anyone, but there'll be that continuity and sort of we're bringing all the information together into one place to try and avoid some of the issues we've heard where, you know, different parties are involved and maybe using different email accounts or having different phone conversations, which aren't necessarily, you know, they all require another piece of work to sort of reconcile, to bring that information back together into one place. So by sending a question through in this way, both the customer and the Building Control Authority are able to see, you know, have that information all in one place. And we can see this question is unanswered when the date it was sent, and then any responses will show on here and be emailed to the applicant, to the customer as well. So I will go back to the slides and we can continue with the show and tell. So as Dawn said, we've been testing this portal with previous users of building control services, and we've heard about the sort of benefits, particularly of being able to see that whole journey, both what's been done and have confidence that it's been completed or that it's in progress, but also what's coming up, and gives them this idea of really, you know, where they are and what's going to happen next. And they really sort of valued the ability to ask questions as well and have that as a sort of clear way of knowing. We heard quite a lot of sort of, you know, they'd call up and they'd try and time their call at the right time to get to speak to the right person, which often, you know, seemed quite a frustrating process for them, and also maybe not the most ideal process for the local authorities who are trying to manage responding to those queries as well. So this is a quote from a homeowner. That is just perfect because you don't know where you are. It's all very mysterious. It means you don't have to hold it in your head all the time. And I think this is a big thing that we know both from the discovery report and the further research we've been doing, is that there is a real sort of burden, even for professionals, from understanding and remembering exactly where things are. Things happen over a long period of time, and being able to sort of have a clear shared record of where something is and what's happening next is really beneficial to making sure that everyone's expectations are better managed and better met as well. We've already got some plans for iterations. So we are keen to add the ability for requesting and submitting updated plans to this portal, so that when either through the validation or the plan check, if further details are required, those can be sent to the applicant, who can directly upload things that will go in straight into the back office system without any sort of manual document management required. And we also know there's an opportunity to manage duty holder management. So where there might be both sort of from the start of a process where a principal designer and contractor may be defined, and if that changes over the duration of a project, being able to allow any of the customers to easily sort of sign off their responsibilities, hand over that process, and have a real clarity around that and a real ease of doing that, hopefully promotes the sort of effective record of duty holders, or the effective recording of duty holders throughout the process. So as Dawn's suggested, we are going to be we've got sort of call outs for lots of people to get involved. We are looking for surveyors and technical support officers to help us test prototypes. So alongside the customer portal, we've also been working on various aspects of the back-end system, from the validation parts to plan checking to site inspections, etc. So there's a link here. I will post it into the chat afterwards. But we would really like surveyors, inspectors, technical support officers, and managers to be sort of volunteer a bit of time to come and help us test and improve the prototypes. Yeah, so as I said, we've got the validation, which we'll have a coded prototype for, and site inspections, where we've got some sketch flows, and we'll hopefully be exploring that a bit more in our upcoming workshop with through a bit of code design. Rhiannon, I believe I'm handing over to you to talk about what we can see on screen, which is the validation coded prototype.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm not going to spend ages talking through the logic and the design for this, because Tom has already shown the Figma designs for this and gone through what this is and why it's here. So this is an example of what a validation flow might look like for technical support officers. So what we've done to make this more interactive and easy for user testing and for people to have a look at on their own, we've actually created and deployed a coded prototype from the designs, which I will quickly click through now. It's worth mentioning that this is phase one of the coded prototype, in that this is just a visual walkthrough. Full functionality is going to be added during the next sprint, so that anyone who's interested can just message me, get a login for the prototype, and then you can access it on the demo environment. And pretty soon you'll be able to do things like validate, remove, click through documents, draw the red line boundary of the property, and so on. But for now, it's a clickable prototype. So what you're looking at here, based on the government design framework, is the ability to see what documents have already been checked, review documents individually to ensure that they are what they describe, and then to go through a list of documents and add requests for missing documents, and directly email the agent or the homeowner or the developer or whoever to ask for more documents. And similar to anyone who has used BOPs will be familiar with the process for drawing and checking the red line boundary of the property. We've introduced this screen. You can also check the description of work and ensure that if the fee hasn't been paid at this stage, to calculate the fee, and then when the fee's been paid, this information will appear here and you'll be able to mark it as complete. So as I said, if you're interested in having a look at this and seeing the work evolve, get in touch with me for credentials for accessing this, and it's kind of out there on the web for people to play with. Could you go back to the slides, please, Tom?
Yeah, I've just started presenting them again, and I will.
Okay, awesome. So I'll keep talking, because this is the technical bit of the show and tell. Alongside working on the prototype, I've also been continuing the work on data standards, and over the next few weeks I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to talk to more people who are interested in data. We've already had invaluable input from David. Thank you so much for helping with that. But if you can think of anyone else, particularly in working for other organisations, not just local authorities, who might be interested in talking to me about this, this would be a great time to get in touch. So the work we've done this month is, I showed at the last show and tell the documentation that I'd begun to produce about suggested common data standard, we've recognised that this is actually a piece of work that probably needs its own space. So we've created a public repository on GitHub so that people can comment and collaborate. Not expecting people to remember this. Again, just ping me in Slack and I can send you over the URL. But it would be absolutely great. Yeah, next slide, please, Tom. If people who are interested can get in touch and talk to me about this. So this is just an example of the sort of information that's in there. People probably think, oh, because it's GitHub, it's code, but it's actually not. It's just tables of information in a suggested format, whether things should be mandatory, whether things should be optional or not. And I'm hoping that with help from stakeholders in the project, we'll be able to continue this work and have a really useful collaboration around what kind of data standard would be useful. Again, worth mentioning that it's based on MHCLG's planning data standards. But of course, there is so much variation between planning and building control that we've just taken kind of the bits that are immediately common, and hopefully we can start adding the bits that are building control specific as we get more knowledge. And that's me.
Great, thank you very much, Rhiannon. So just finally to say what's coming up next. So we've got a workshop on the 28th of January in Lichfield. As I said, we'll hopefully be doing a part of that workshop at least on sketching and co-design for the site inspections part of the journey. There'll be more ongoing data standards work and further research and testing with builders, designers, contractors, and then testing and iterating the prototypes and building out the coded prototypes. So basically all the sort of strands of work will continue into the next phases. So that is it. Questions we will take in a second once I've stopped recording. And just a reminder that the next show and tell we'll do at the start of the workshop. So it will be at a later time of 1:30. I'm going to stop recording and then we can take any questions.